Hey everybody, welcome to the Mr. Movie Dr. Crave Show. I'm Steve, aka Mr. Movie.
And I'm Jay.
And welcome to our first official podcast show. You guys know us from doing Two Guys vs. Cobra Kai. Hoo-ah!
Hoo-ah!
And we've done a couple videos on DC and Spider-Man and a couple podcasts on 10 Things I Hate About You and Mortal Kombat. So I think we've done about 12 videos so far on YouTube. So I kind of decided that we kind of do like an actual show instead of having to do multiple topics, doing multiple videos. We can cover some in just a large space.
Right.
So Jay, I guess let's start the episode by going into the news. So the news is they just released the trailer for Jurassic World Dominion, or Jurassic World 3, Jurassic Park 6. And I saw the trailer and it looked pretty cool because they're bringing back Jeff Goldblum. He came back from the first one or second one. He came. Remember at the end of Jurassic World 2, he says, "Welcome to Jurassic World." And
everyone's favorite mathematician.
That's right. Chaos Theory, and also Ellie Stabler.
Okay.
And
is it Grant something?
Yeah, no.
Or that his character?
Same deal as paleontologist Alan Grant.
Oh, okay.
So it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of nice to see them all back together. And
do we know like what? A lot of those movies, like one of the dinosaurs is like the new big bad dinosaurs.
There actually shows. So did you see Jurassic World 2?
Yeah. I saw
okay.
it too.
Remember at the end of Jurassic World 2 or Jurassic, he says, "Welcome to Jurassic World," and you saw like the lion at the zoo roar, and then the T-Rex shows up. So it's really going to talk about kind of how now that all the dinosaurs are now kind of in the Jurassic World. So because there's like a lot of really cool, like there's like these fishermen. They're fishing off the coast, and it's like a stormy, wet, like a perfect storm thing. And all of a sudden, you see like that gigantic. Remember the thing that ate the shark?
Like it's like lightning strikes, and you like see it through the wave or something.
Yeah, well, you see it through the wave, but the large megalodon.
Like the giant shark?
The thing that ate the shark in Jurassic Park, he's out in the ocean.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he's eating, he ate some part of the ship or something.
Gotcha.
So it looks pretty cool. I'm kind of excited, and it's just kind of nice to see them back together.
Nice. Was there anything else in the movie news?
We'll see tomorrow's the Super Bowl. And so there's a lot of talk of, this is when, the commercials, they show a lot of their.
They're gonna drop a
lot of movie. I would probably guess Fast 10. I don't know if that comes out this year or they pushed it back.
Okay.
I saw that. I've been watching Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
Which is a spin-off of Mandalorian.
Right.
And it's good. It's gotten really good. They brought.
I haven't seen it. I have heard a lot of things about Baby Yoda. Is Baby Yoda still in?
Baby Yoda's back in this episode,
okay.
And Luke Skywalker's training him.
Okay,
and this takes place. So if you, audience, and most people probably want. So the Mandalorian takes place between episode 6 and 7, like right after episode 6.
Okay.
So in the Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian at the end of season 2 of the Mandalorian beats the Boba Fett, and apparently one of the guys, the guy from Justified, and he was a villain in Live Free or Die Hard. Remember the tech genius?
I think so, yeah.
Not the kid that was in Galaxy Quest, but the big guy,
right?
The villain. He is in the he's becomes the sheriff. Like the latest episode, he becomes the sheriff, and Cad Bane I don't know if you remember Cad Bane from
he was in like the
Clone Wars,
the CGI animated Clone Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
They show that he's actually real, like he's an actual character.
Okay.
And he's a badass.
Gotcha. Well, I guess it's sort of. I guess he's an alien, so it's just like how long he lives, because it's been a long time since the Clone Wars.
Yes, it has. But I've been watching that. I've been watching I've actually started watching Daredevil on Netflix.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're telling me it's about to come off Netflix.
Yes, I don't know if Disney is going to put it on Disney Plus. I would love them to, so I could kind of finish the show. It's 3 seasons. I'm like on episode 8. Really good. I like him as Daredevil.
Okay. How's it? I guess I haven't seen the show, but I did see the movie back.
Did you see the theatrical cut, or did you see
we watched the theatrical cut and the director's cut.
Yeah. The director's cut is better.
Right.
I think because it's kind of the same thing where because you develop so much time with a character, I think you get sort of very much not enlightened, but sort of you can, there's more character development.
Right. Since you got so much more time.
More time. So, I mean, it works. He wears like a black mask. Edgar the Bug, remember him from Men in Black?
Oh, yeah. More sugar,
He was in Law and Order, Criminal Intent, I think, the Vincent D'Onofrio, and he's been in some other shows. He's Kingpin.
Okay.
And so he's in this show as Kingpin, and he plays a pretty, mean Kingpin. Right. I mean, I liked Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin from Daredevil, but I felt like it was. I think you have to look at comic book movies back then. They're still trying to find their footing, not to what it is now.
Right. And just, I guess I wasn't sure. Is that so? The actor from the show, is that the same one that shows up in sort of spoilers? Yeah, in Spider-Man No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, okay. It's the same one.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a cool.
So Marvel, so Netflix. So I think Daredevil's was still was owned by 20th Century Fox, which owns the X-Men, and then I think Daredevil went for sale. Netflix picked it up. They put it on Netflix, and I think Disney's now gotten the rights back to Marvel. So I'm hoping that the Daredevil Netflix show just moves to Disney Plus.
Yeah, that must be. I remember hearing about like the whole like deal, because I think Sony still owns Spider-Man, so they had like
they split the money. I think.
I know, that's such like a I'm glad that movie happened, because that was such a fun movie.
Well, especially just to see
but just how complicated the like negotiations between the studios must
be. But like when everybody saw, and it's like when everybody saw Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, because I think this movie, and I think I said this in our Spider-Man video, the No Way Home gave Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire levity. Like they actually went out with got to close out their thing. And that scene where all three of them hugged, because I always feel like it's kind of the same thing when you look at Batman, and I said this too in the Spider-Man No Way Home thing. It's like, everyone's like, well, Michael Keaton's the best Batman, or Robert Pattinson, or Ben Affleck is Batman, and he threw it out of the park. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what I've seen some of the trailers for the Batman. And it looks really, Matt Reeves knows what he's doing. He's also the guy that directed the Planet of the Apes, I think he directed Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes.
Do you know, is that coming out this year?
It's coming out March 8th.
Oh, that's like. Dang,
so I think they're really, because they're really pushing for. I think they originally were going to do it in the summer. The whole COVID-19 stuff happened.
Right.
So they pushed it back to. So it's kind of exciting. I'm kind of excited to see what they do, and I think he'll do a pretty good job. Everybody says he was Edward. He's always going to be Cedric Diggory to me from Harry Potter. What else have we been? Any other news have you heard? Or?
I guess I don't. My ear hasn't been close to the ground for movie news, so I don't. a lot of times like stuff will come out and I'll be like, oh man, I gotta see that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be like, Jay, I've seen that trailer 300 times. It's not that big of a deal. No, on this episode, well, we're just gonna be we actually it's squad time. We're here talking about the Suicide Squad. We just saw that a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And so
I think you went out and got the
DVD, Blu-ray, yeah.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad, and then I watched, I think, both. We watched The Suicide Squad, and I went back and watched Suicide Squad first.
Right.
And watched The Suicide Squad back to back. So on this episode, I guess we're going to be talking about The Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad. So Jay, what was your thoughts on? Well, I guess we'll start with the first one, Suicide Squad extended cut.
Oh, God.
From what you can remember.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember good things. I guess
you didn't like it?
I mean, it had fun moments, I remember, but like the overall, I don't know.
Well,
something about it didn't work.
I felt like you watch The Suicide Squad and it feels like, James Gunn knows how to work. He did so well with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know, yeah. These the second one was, I don't know. I give it a thumb. That was way better.
Yeah, but I feel like The Suicide Squad, it kind of was an origin story, if you will. I mean, this one, or The Suicide Squad, was kind of had some origins and stuff, but Will Smith was like the best. I think Will Smith was the best thing.
Yeah, I remember Will Smith was good. So was
Margot Robbie. Yeah. She. I feel like the way Iron Man, or the way Tony Stark kind of embodies Iron Man. Right. Kind of in the same way I look at Margot Robbie and how she's just perfect. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't have that same voice as Mr. J, like the animated series. And originally Harley Quinn was supposed to be part of the animated, or was in the animated series as just the Joker's girlfriend girlfriend, and she was. And then she became so popular that they incorporated her into the comics and stuff like that. So, and I know we kind of talked about that a little bit with in our DC video where we talked about how she was going to be originally in Triumphant, which didn't go anywhere. But so let's kind of talk about since we saw the Suicide Squad together, let's talk about that. What was your thoughts? I guess. What was your thoughts when they first kind of you kind of saw the poster? Were you like, this could be interesting, or you're like, well, they screwed the first one up?
Yeah, I was more like, the first one was like, I don't know if I don't watch this. I ended up watching it, like late at night, like just streamed it. And then,
the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad, and then oh my god, when I first saw, I don't know if you remember the little raccoon guy.
The little, weasel. The weasel.
Yeah, the weasel. Like, I don't know who was like the character artist behind that. I have like it's pretty rare when I just like burst out laughing. Oh, really? Well, seeing something in a movie and just like.
Well, yeah, I know it's rare because it's always like when I listen to you laugh, I'm like, is Jay all right? No, it's cool. It's cool. What I liked about it, what I liked about what they did with, I feel like with this being a sequel. I liked what, I'm glad Jared Leto. Were you glad Jared Leto wasn't in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a super big fan of the Joker.
Well, he was kind of like too punk rock and kind of like, trying to be too gangsta. Again, I'm not like gangster. I'm saying gangsta.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I feel like it's hard because like Heath Ledger was so like. They sort of like they had the Joker with who's from like the
Mark Hamill?
No, the
Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Dang, sorry, I'm blanking on like with the guy who like Nightmare Before Christmas. Who's the director?
Tim Burton.
Yeah, Tim Burton. Who's the?
Oh, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, you had like the very cartoonish Jack Nicholson, and then the very like polar opposite with Heath Ledger.
I was I was listening to a podcast on YouTube. And they interviewed Michael Joel White, not Urkel, the guy that played Spawn. Right. And they talked about how he was, remember in Dark Knight, that scene where he's like they find the Joker, and they say they're playing pool. He's a gangster, Gimbo or whatever his name is. Remember, he's playing pool, and he's like we found the Joker, and he's like, bring it in, and they put him on the pool table, and it says, well, how much are we gonna get for him?
He snaps like the
and he
pool
says,
sticks.
and he said, yeah, that whole scene. Well, he was saying, they were interviewing him. It's like, but so what was your thoughts when they were talking about, Heath Ledger, when he was like, talked about how he like died and the Joker consumed him. He said that whole thing pissed me off because when he was take, he was the Joker, but when they yelled cut, he was funny. He like laughed. He had he said it, but it was just interesting listening. Okay. He said it was just he was having a ball playing that character.
Yeah, I just feel like it may have been better if they could, instead of like after they spun it back more into like the cartoony, sort of like how like Harley Quinn is like very much like the animated show. Like,
yeah.
Well, over the top and
and I liked and we have to look at John Cena. I mean, he was great as Peacemaker. Great. I mean, John Cena's been kind of like, when I first saw him in the Marine, I was like going, oh, God. And Marine was just sort of like, it was a WWE vehicle. It was sort of like, it tried to be like sort of that 80s action badass kind of thing, but WWE can't really write that good of,
Was he in Bumblebee too?
He was in Bumblebee.
Okay,
yeah. He was in Bumblebee, and he was really good. And he also played in Vin Diesel's brother.
Oh, in one of the Fast and Furious.
The latest Fast and Furious movie. So I like him, and and surprisingly, he follows me on Twitter, so that's kind of cool.
I heard. Well, I don't know if we can do sidetrack. I mean, I heard, they come out with like a standalone show for him, or is that still coming out?
Oh yeah, it's on HBO. It's HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
And they've got a show called Peacemaker, and I think it's streaming the first couple episodes is now on HBO Max.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't have it yet.
Well, I don't have it anymore either, Steve. That was.
I know.
Yeah. So I haven't. Have you heard anything about it, or?
I've heard pretty good things about it.
Okay.
But I liked how they brought, like they felt, it's James Gunn, and he brought that Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know, I loved it.
But he could go a little bit more. I think DC kind of said, look, I know Marvel kind of, because I think he like said some mean tweets or something and got him sort of exposed or Marvel kind of was like, we're part of the Disney thing and we couldn't.
Right.
But in Suicide Squad, I felt like they had fun, and then you had.
I know. I just feel like
you had Sylvester Stallone as King Shark.
Oh, I had no idea
that was Sylvester Stallone. He's like, "Mom, num num." He's like, "No, don't eat it." I mean, it was bloody. It had, and you had Taking Back the Apocalypse from Pacific Rim. Idris Elba.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
and he played Bloodshot, which I think Will Smith kind of had scheduling conflicts, and so they created this character because I think he
right,
because he's a little bit different. But I liked it.
I definitely. I think we were saying. You look at the first one, like almost all the villains are sort of like, I'm the baddest guy around, like I'm the and like
they're like at a bar and like
right. This one's like just sort of a bunch of like
crazy, and they kind of
Mr.
like
Polka Dot.
That polka dot guy, yes, and and like what's interesting about and I felt like with with Suicide Squad, they were trying so I think DC, and I've said this before too, is that DC, I think, needs to be DC and let Marvel be Marvel and not try to be like Marvel, which I felt like that's what they did with Suicide Squad. But I feel like with the Suicide Squad, James Gunn knew how to have fun with it.
Right.
But I mean, what was your? I mean, I liked the characters. I liked how it was bloody. It was filthy. Like there was a lot of language,
right?
Which I felt like something Marvel under the Disney thing can't really like. I think the problem is I think a lot of studios are afraid to take risks,
right?
Because if they like the formula, they know what works. But Yeah, I liked how, and I liked I'm trying to think. I liked King Shark. I liked how they had James Gunn got Iago, not Iago. Iago's the bird.
The parrot.
The parrot. Yeah, he got Iago. No, Yondu. So what is his name?
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yeah, he plays a character. Remember, he played a character as well. And then you just had that giant starfish. Scene.
Yeah. Well, I guess who's your favorite character?
I think from the movie? I think they all work great as a team.
No, but you gotta pick. Just like your
John Cena, I think, really brought. John Cena, Peacemaker brought that character where it could have been. I mean, and John Cena's. I got off work. I work in front of a movie theater, and I got off work and went and saw him in Daddy's Home 2, where he was like in that film, Mark Wahlberg's father, Mark Wahlberg, and so in the first one, Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg hate each other. But then they got to love, find each other. And so they decided to have 2 Christmases. Well, Mark Wahlberg's dating another girl, a woman. And he's divorced. And John Cena's the wife, or the father, So he's in the stepfather. But that's kind of the thing. And then I saw, did we talk about, do you want to talk about Ghostbusters or wait for you to see it?
We could talk a little bit about it. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just kind of give you like a base.
Yeah.
I liked it. I felt like, it was directed by Ivan Reitman. Not Ivan. The first 2 were directed by Ivan Reitman. This was directed by Jason Reitman, which is his son. And Jason Reitman has been a really good director. He directed Thank You for Smoking.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Up
a good
in
movie.
the Air, which was a really good film where it's the one where it's got George Clooney.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that one.
And George Clooney fires. He gets paid to fire people. Long story short, it's about him and kind of that. But he's done. He really, and what it was is, I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things.
Yeah, I've seen the first season.
It has that Stranger Things vibe. Like these kids move to this town in Iowa, and Paul Rudd is their teacher, and there's this little girl that's like into, spaceships and stuff, and her grandfather is Harold Ramis's character.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting, and like but I felt like it focused too much on the kids, which was fine, but it didn't really balance out. So I was kind of hoping that it would balance out, and maybe when you watch it, you'll be a little bit more.
Okay.
We'll kind of go more into deeper discussion. But
I guess, how would you rate it compared to the other Ghostbusters?
Well, it's better than the Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
Okay.
I mean, I was kind of like, Answer the Call, I felt like they were trying. The problem with Answer the Call was, it was like, it was fine. I think you watch it again, it was fine. You kind of said it was fine.
Oh, I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was quite funny. I guess I thought I think the villain was not good.
That's probably why I was a little bit, but I feel like when you do a film where, I feel like, when you look at something like Wonder Woman, and for me, I felt like watching Wonder Woman, I felt, this woman made me feel empowered, where it wasn't like, I'm a woman and I can do what the men can do. It's like, I'm a woman and I'm badass. And in the Wonder Woman,
right?
But I felt like with Ghostbusters, it was sort of the best scene in that. What I like, my favorite scene is where she goes, "Yeah, my uncle drives a hearse," and and Ernie Hudson shows up and says, "What'd you do to my car?"
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife was real. I thought it had that Stranger Things feel.
Okay.
Paul Rudd's really good in it.
Would you say it's sort of like, I remember like...
But it wasn't like, I was expecting it to be more of them sort of like kind of going like, hey, we need the new we're the new Ghostbusters. We need the old Ghostbusters help or something. But they show up at the end.
Okay.
But it's really kind of,
You say it's more about sort of like the
But it works as like
it's like where it's more like the kid's story type thing.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, but it's not as dark. I mean, it's darker. It balances. It's not as goofy as the first two because it's goofy, but it's just different. It's just it's different, but it's different in a good way.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of times with a lot of these movies, you watch it as a specific time. And I feel like when, I didn't grow, I was born in 88, you were born in 90, right? 90?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ghostbusters were sort of like the films that we sort of knew about. And it was sort of like when PG was PG kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I liked it. I'll probably have to watch it with you just to get more of a, different kind of audience atmosphere.
Okay. I'm just looking at the sort of cover. I see they got some little Is Gozer back?
Gozer is back.
I was just curious.
Is Gozer the girl?
Yeah, Gozer's the main bad person from the first one.
Yeah, she's back. But yeah, I thought it worked as a third one, as a requel, as I would call it. It's not really a sequel, but it's more of a kind of a, it's like Ghostbusters: The Next Generation,
right?
But it works okay, So.
Well, I don't know, Steve. What else have you been watching this past couple weeks?
That's about it.
Okay.
I've been, we've been watching Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
And, so what do you want to talk about?
I guess I haven't been watching too much else. I guess the one other thing that I've watched recently is an animated movie called Ron's Gone Wrong.
Okay, you talk about that. Walk me through that film, why don't you?
So it's sort of a cute animated movie where it's maybe in the future. There's sort of like a company called Bubble, which is sort of like a Facebook and Apple thing, where they sell like all the futuristic products, cell phones and stuff. And they've come up with a new product where it's like a little robot buddy
who's
like going to be your best friend and make what?
Is it like Big Hero 6?
Sort of. They look sort of white little thing, except then they can sort of like get these little like they can sort of project scans onto themselves. And so there's one kid who is like his family is sort of too poor to have one, and so he's like the sort of like the loner kid, and he's quite sad. And then his family is like real bad because they don't, he doesn't get one for his birthday, so they go out and get like a broken one for like behind an alley, and he's like messed up, and I don't know, and sort of wild and crazy adventures come after that, and they have to like take down the company who's like spying on all the kids. And
that's cool. It's
around you a whole lot. I don't know if you have ever seen Mitchell's versus the Machines.
No.
Okay, it's sort of a lot like I don't know, it's quite as good as that one, but
is Mitchell's and the Machines sort of kind of like a Terminator type film?
No, it's more a family comedy animated movie.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it sounds like
I guess from the title, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, that sounds pretty interesting. But yeah, I've kind of been. I've been sort of, except for. Book of Boba Fett, we kind of watched that, and it's really. I don't know. Have I given you a little bit about?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. You said it was really good. I guess.
You kind of have to watch the main, you watch the first, so. I probably did I already tell you?
We covered it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Book of Boba Fett I've watched. I kind of want to get back. We need to get back into Cobra Kai.
Right.
Because I want to see what Silver's up to.
I know. It looks like we've only seen that first one. It looks like he's maybe thinking about
coming back.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited. And the thing is I haven't been on YouTube and looked at any spoilers, spoilers. I'm going fresh in. But yeah, so I guess the other, what was your thought? I guess since we're on our, at least let me know since. What was your thoughts on the Ghostbusters films, or at least the first two?
The first two,
and then maybe tell me what your thoughts on Answer the Call, the women version.
Okay. I mean,
I would really like to hear your thoughts, Jay, on the women's version.
I mean, I really like.
Or what's your first two?
I guess for the Ghostbusters 1 is just sort of, I don't know, up there with like just it's sort of like a movie classics. It's hard to dethrone. Like it's
you can't really. And I feel like with Ghostbusters, and I feel like a lot of movies, I feel like if a movie hits about 25 years old, 20 to 25 years old, and it still lingers with you after all those years, then it's considered a classic.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, Ghostbusters 2 is not. It's not up there.
Well, I think like Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic, he kind of talked about, everybody. I think in his Ghostbusters, he reviewed Ghostbusters 2, and he said everybody was pissed about Ghostbusters, the Answer the Call, but everybody doesn't bat an eye about Ghostbusters 2, but I'm going to bat an eye.
Yeah. It's Ghostbusters 2. I really liked Dr. Poha, the art director person that gets possessed by...
from Baby Geniuses.
Yeah, he gets possessed by Vigo. Yeah.
I thought he was pretty cool.
I thought he was quite funny.
And I like Sigourney Weaver. And I like Sigourney Weaver's character.
Good.
And she's great in Alien. And she was great in Galaxy Quest.
Right.
Where, she played like Ahura, the Star Trek
equivalent.
Equivalent. And I remember when she was being on the special features for Galaxy Quest, she was like going, it's like if NASA asked me to come join their mission because I've been in all these Alien movies because she was an Alien and Ghostbusters and Galaxy Quest and that kind of thing. But I liked I felt like I felt like they all work. Even Answer the Call. I mean, the best part of Answer the Call. I mean, the best part is Chris Hemsworth.
He was
game. Like he said,
he was good.
Like, and I felt like the thing with the Ghostbusters, even the Ghostbusters, basically they take the idea of being an exterminator and they're just exterminating ghosts, and it's just a day job.
Right.
I mean, if you watch that, when we watched that first one, it was just like, yeah, so you got like they answer the call, or they answer the phone and go, so you got like a ghost in your kitchen? I'll go handle that. Right. But the thing I liked about Ghostbusters Afterlife was I felt like it was different because it was directed by Jason Reitman, who is Ivan Reitman's son. So I feel like Jason was, and I watched the special features after the movie, and he was saying, the biggest problem I had with it, or with doing this movie, was where I was, doing, like, it was, my father who started this whole thing, I have to kind of like, not let him down. I've got the fans who, I'm a fan. He said, I'm a fan. He's a little kid in the second one.
Right.
And the birthday.
Oh, right, when they come do like the
birthday thing, he says, my dad says you guys are losers or something.
Oh, yeah, and they're like, we want He-Man.
We want He-Man. Yeah, I liked it. I think watching it with 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, and Afterlife, all back and forth, and they do a really nice homage to Harold Ramis, who I didn't realize this, but did you ever watch Orange County?
No, I've never seen Orange County.
Which is Jack Black and Colin Hanks.
Oh no, is Jack Black in that?
He plays the brother, like the embarrassing brother, and in Orange County, he gets applies to all these colleges he didn't get in to any of them. So Jack Black is like this sort of loser kind of guy, and he was like, I'm going to drive you all the way and talk to the dean, and the dean is Harold Ramis.
Okay.
And so, but yeah, I would, we'll go more into detail with Afterlife maybe on our next episode, but I liked it. Did you, and then, Anything else you've been watching? Anything else that you've been watching?
No, I've been watching too much. Besides, I guess the last two movies I've seen was the Ghostbusters 2 with you, and then Ron's Gone Wrong.
Any TV shows or anything?
No, I guess I haven't been watching too much TV recently.
You run this podcast.
Sorry.
I know you need to. But yeah, I thought, you know, I mean, I've been kind of watching enough just to kind of keep me. I mean, it's just there's so, you know, the problem is there's so much content out there. There's just, it's great and it's terrible at the same time.
Right.
But so Jay, we saw, I think back in October.
Right.
We saw Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Right.
What before we get into that film, what was your thoughts on Venom 1?
I think Venom 1 actually wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
I don't think I liked it as much as you did.
I felt like the thing about Venom 1 is, and I was listening. Well, let me give you my thoughts.
Okay.
Venom 1, I feel like because Spider-Man 3, Venom was so, and we talked about it in the Spider-Man one, where it was like I felt like Sam Raimi just didn't want to do Venom, and even I was listening to a Todd McFarlane, who's the creator of Venom, wanted to, and he had a really good interview. I was listening to his interview this morning, and he had a really good interview with the Schmoes, or with Collider. It's another podcast. Shout out. But with them, or with him, he said, you know, he saw Spider-Man 3 and he was so excited and he was just like so pissed because Venom was supposed to be big, and then he talked about Venom, the Tom Hardy one, and he was like, it was exactly how I wanted Venom to look and Venom to work. And what I liked about Venom was I liked how he had that that conversation where he's like, no, I am a loser, and Tom Hardy,
like
Gollum, but it worked.
No, yeah,
and like, you know, and I liked how, like, I kind of felt like if you remember Venom, it's the first movie. I'll give you a rundown. J. Jonah Jameson's son, who is an astronaut, comes down with the Venom symbiote. It finds Tom Hardy, and it's kind of the same, and it's only kind of mentioned, unlike in Spider-Man 3, where J. Jameson's son sort of wants to marry Mary Jane, but like Mary Jane is sort of like, oh, I'm going to run off on my wedding day and marry somebody else. So,
is that from like the animated show? Or the
that's the animated show.
Okay.
No, that's from the movie.
Gotcha.
So, in this one, in the first Venom, the suit, or the black goo symbiote,
it's a
symbiote, and this company wants it.
Right.
So he's interviewing. He's a reporter for the Daily Bugle, and it's like, and he's married. He's dating.
That's right. He's trying to like investigate the story on that company. He goes in and gets infected in their like lab or something.
Yeah,
right.
And he bonds with the symbiote.
Right, because he can only bond with like certain people, otherwise it kills them.
Right,
yeah.
and then what happens is and then the other one, or what is the villain's name?
Oh yeah, there's like a couple other symbiotes of like different colors.
Yeah,
I think like the black one's sort of like the black sheep of the family, where it's like sort of like the runt.
And then there's Riot.
Right.
Riot is the one that bonds with Max, not Max Shrek. That's the Batman villain. Anyway, bonds with him.
Bad guy.
Yeah, and they have a fight. Well, Venom. So at the end of Venom 1, he's interviewing Cassius Crave, who's a murderer, or he's.
Does that happen at the end of
that's one? That's the like the very end of, like, the Caesar, like the
teaser scene.
Teaser scene. So like at the end, he goes and interviews him, and he says, "There's gonna be carnage." And then let's get into Venom 2.
Okay. So
Venom 2 takes place, and he and Venom are just friends now, aren't they?
No, they're having lots of, like,
Well, they're not friends.
Oh, they have a better understanding.
Kind of better understanding.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get.
Gotcha.
At.
No. Yeah. And I think I like Venom 2 more than Venom 1. I thought they upped like the sort of like I don't know, sort of like the bickering between the two. Like I want to eat this person. He's like, no, we got to eat this.
We eat this
chickens.
He's like, he eats
chocolate.
the chickens and chocolate. He's like, I've had it with these chickens and chocolate. And I think Tom Hardy did the voice for both Venom and that's yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he played the voice. He did like I think a ADR for
gotcha.
Venom. So in this one, he goes and interviews Cassius,
whoever Carnage
becomes, and then the little black goop goes in or kind of falls on him.
I think he bites
Eddie.
Yeah, he bites Eddie.
Did he?
I think so. I think he gets it from the blood.
Oh.
I can't remember because I remember he said his blood tasted weird.
Yeah.
I think is how it is not super.
He
important.
Gets it.
Yeah, he gets
this. Infected. Yeah, he gets it, and so he gets so he becomes Carnage.
Right.
And Carnage in the comics is red and kind of black, red and kind of black,
right?
And is more of a Spider-Man villain. Venom's a Spider-Man villain too,
right?
And so, and if you remember the Venom, how Venom actually became was the same way in Spider-Man 3, where Venom he couldn't take the suit anymore, and it went on to Eddie Brock. I think it's the same way in the comics. But I think it's 300 was Spider-Man 300 was first introduction to Venom. Okay. But let's get through Venom Carnage for a second.
Yeah. So I liked that they sort of had like backstories of the cat. I would just call him Cassie and his girlfriend. I can't remember her name, but
and I swear to God, I don't think she is. But she looks like the same girl that was in that might be Naomi Harris. But from Pirates of the Caribbean, remember the witch doctor?
I haven't seen Pirates in
forever.
For a long time.
Okay, never mind. But he's got and
they sort of got this whole backstory of first thing it's maybe it's like the mutant school for the gifted, but it's like a sort of a stranger experimentation.
Yeah, it's like a psychiatric hospital or something
for mutant people.
Yeah, and he goes. So I think it's been a while since we've seen this, but
right.
He actually has to get he's gonna have the death penalty on him.
Right.
And he's like, any last words? And he says, y'all can rot in hell or something like that. And then he says, and then Venom comes up, and then the symbiote.
Yeah, he's able to break out of prison. And he goes and breaks out. I guess the girl who's been still in the, I think it's like Ravencroft or Ravenloft, some spooky
name. And she looks like some
And she actually has the power to scream really loud, which is sort of like one of the
kind of the same thing that
kryptonites to the symbiotes.
Symbiotes, yeah. So and and I liked how and then you had of course the New York police or the San Francisco police that's sort of trying to figure out what
what's going on and who's killing all these people. Yeah.
But what was your thoughts on it? I don't want to get too much into detail.
Yeah. I like Venom 2 a lot more.
Venom 2. It was directed by Andy Serkis.
Okay. Oh, it was directed by Gollum.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like that brought something to it, and the guy I feel like, we might just this is just kind of a brief thing. We might do a podcast sometime soon when we do a Venom Venom podcast and go more in detail. But I like this one. Yeah. I thought it worked pretty good. I feel like it was teetering on an R a little bit. It worked pretty well.
Right.
For an R, for a extreme PG-13.
Right.
But I liked Woody Harrelson played just he's so so great.
Right.
I mean, he was great in The Hunger Games Born on the 4th of July. And, no, he wasn't on that one. He was in something else. Anyway, so I give it an A.
Okay. I think I don't know. I still think I don't give. I think I'd give it a B plus maybe. I think the best thing was like the interaction between Venom and Eddie.
Did you like Venom 2? Did Venom 1 feel better or worse than Venom 2? Or do you feel like you were okay? Because I like both of them. I mean, I'd probably rate it like a 97 and 95.
Okay. I feel like the humor the humor hit me more for 2.
Yeah, and I think that could be also the writing,
Yeah.
But I like that. So that's what we've been kind of seeing for the most part. Thank you guys for listening. We'll probably be back with more of a topical movie next time. But this is just our kind of first experiment of just sort of doing a podcast together. So Jay, what would you want to talk about? What do we got planned for next week?
I think next show, we're probably gonna get back into some Cobra Kai as well.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out in the dojo.
Yeah.
And do some Cobra Kai.
Terry
Silver's back, baby. And on our next episode, we'll probably do a real rundown of season 1 and season 2 and season 3, and then talk about season 4, episode 1 of season 4. So thank you guys for listening to our latest podcast. And signing off, I'm Steve. You can follow me at Twitter at SteveOBall23. That's Steve capital O lowercase b 23. Jay, do you have any socials or?
No, I sort of stay off the socials.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be
see you next time
after these messages. Boom, boom. We'll be right back.